This lesson is about a couple of new things. It introduces the Card Layout Manager, and it shows you an example of using more than one panel and more than one layout manager to construct a window. First, note that there is a declaration of a reference to a card layout and a panel located here at the top of the class. We're going to need to refer to both of these in the callback, so they are kept here so the callback method will have access to them. This MakePanel method constructs a panel and sets its background color. This is the color that will come through in all areas that we don't cover with other components. Remember that a panel is not only a container, but it's also a component, so it has such things as color settings. We're going to be using a border layout manager because we want to put one item at the top and another at the bottom. So two calls are made to add one component north and another one south. Now, the north component is actually another panel, and this is the one that uses the Card Layout Manager. The Card Layout Manager manages several components, but only displays one of them at a time. It sizes itself to the largest height and width that it will need to be able to display every component in its container's list. And this particular one is going to insert horizontal and vertical gaps of 10 pixels each around the component that it displays. The first component added is a label that will display the word first. So we can easily tell when the Card Layout Manager switches from one to the other, each of the labels are given a different background color. Notice that the constraint parameter on the add method call is a character string. This is a name assigned to the component internally. In this example, we assign the names because it's required, but we don't do anything with them. On the label component and on other components that display text, it's possible to set the color of the text by calling setForeground. That was done for a couple of these labels to prevent the text from being swallowed by the background color. Altogether, 6 labels of various colors are added to the panel with the Card Layout Manager. The bottom half, the south half of the main panel, is to be a row of buttons that are to be used to manipulate the display of the Card Layout Manager. It starts out as a panel with a Flow Layout Manager. 4 buttons are added to the panel, and each one is labeled for the Card Layout Manager method that it will call, and each one is assigned this object as its action listener. This is the callback method called with every button click. The button labeled first causes a call to the Card Layout Manager's first method, making its first component become visible. There is one button that will switch the Layout Manager to the next component, one for the previous and one for the last. Notice that these calls to the Card Layout Manager methods that switch components require that the container be passed also as an argument. That's why both of them were declared at the top of this class, so we could find them from here in the callback. Now here again, I just grabbed the easiest colors I could find, the ones that already are defined in the color class, but it doesn't matter. I mean, even if I had spent a couple of hours working on it, it would still look kind of funky, you know. I don't have any taste. Anyway, the Card Layout Manager can flip through any number and any kind of components, even a collection of panels, and each one of those could be managing several components, and so on and so on.